Hey guys, last week we did some basic styling for our Android application, and if I pull it up here, let's see, this is what we should have been left off with, or if you didn't hide your profile page, you'll be on your profile page, but this is as far as we got as far as styling. Okay, so the first thing I want you guys to do is, if you're going to work in Notepad like me, which is a little easier for the time being, open up the folder where your HTML files are contained, and this should be it, index in your CSS file folder. And I want you to make a new folder called images, or actually IMG. Okay, and I had put on a zip file saying image packet, and that has it will contain these icons here, which you can't see because my file system's a little weird. So let's go here, and it should contain most of these icons. There's not all of them, not all of these will be in the image packet. I will provide you guys with whatever you want. I also have a bunch more if you want to see. I have them here. I also, if you're going to do a dark theme, I have their light icons that go on the black background. And let's see, what else do I have? Yeah, these are not, these are the same thing. I have all these, which is, there's about 200 here. You can do some cool stuff. There's stuff for credit cards, settings, all types of activities. Let's see, networking, programming, things for different types of whatever topics you may have, or icons you need for stuff. Someone I think is going to do a barcode scanner app. I have a barcode scanner icon. As per Android's UI, they want you to kind of give people the sense of what they're doing. Okay, so anyway, I will provide you with this. Just let me know and I will email you a zip folder. And I also have a bunch of UI layouts. They have how the tabs look, some of their button stuff. I already gave you the inputs, and they have list views. Let's see what else I have. Oh, this is for if you have a dark theme. Let's see. Oh, yeah, they have some cool stuff here. And let's see. There's nothing here that you need. This is pretty cool. It has some sliders, check boxes, and radio boxes. If you do an application where you want people to be able to select one or more options, say you have a browse, well, I guess we'll use this for a browse. We have our select that we're going to put in today, some more sliders, and this is the dark theme. I'm not too crazy about Android dark, but if you want to use it, go right ahead. Okay, so let's get started. This is okay at best. Yeah, I try not to use jQuery or any sort of weird mobile libraries. They don't look all too great. I made my own, so if you guys again want it, it's available to you. Okay, so first thing we'll do is get out our CSS file and our index file. and here it is. And what we're going to do today is we're going to try to make everything look like Android today, minus the logo because I don't have that yet. Okay, so let's see what we have. If we open up our index file, we should have this again. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this red background. So let's go back to the top. We should be about halfway down the page because I said all our globals go here, which is stuff that we've reused throughout our entire app, so we know what we're doing. Then every screen, and then displays for every screen. So we have all our stuff from our main page should be halfway through. Okay, so we have main page. Now we have our logo. Let's see. We're going to get rid of our background color. Save and refresh. Okay, and get rid of this. Okay, and the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna give these some more padding, and we're gonna change them to gray buttons because we're gonna use a blue and red background NGIT theme. We are in NGIT, so we might as well use their theme. It's okay, it's pretty good. Okay, so okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a margin to our LI. So let's take a look at what we have in our HTML file. And in our first UL class of no padding, right underneath our logo, we're going to add a class of more. Just for this top one, for this top button, because we're only going to apply a style to this top button, which is going to increase the margin on the bottom. So let's go ahead in our CSS file. And we're going to add our more class. And let's save. And now we should have a bigger margin for our top button. And if we look at our second button, we should see that there's no margin, or just the margin that originally comes with our LI. And now we have a little bit more space in between our buttons, so they don't look so squished together, and they're easier to tap on with your fingers. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is I'm going to get the style of our Google style buttons, and okay, let's look for them. and we're going to add some CSS to our, or rather change the CSS, and for, let's see, class long button. So let's see where that is in our CSS file. Okay, that long button, as we can see, right now we have our blue style button, so let's change that, and let me get it out. And we are just going to change our border, our background, and our gradient. And let's copy and paste it here. Okay, so let's get rid of, we don't need important. Okay, so for that long button, change the border to 1 pixel solid, pound D8 D8 D8, background pound F2 F2 F2, and background again, dash WebKit dash linear dash gradient, parentheses, top, comma, pound F5 F5 F5, comma, pound F1 F1 F1, close parentheses, and semicolon. Okay, if you need a second or two, just pause the video. Okay, and we're going to save and see what we get. Okay. Now when we put in our NJIT style background, which I'm going to steal from their site, I'm going to use some grid red and some blues. It'll look good, and obviously let's change our font color to black again, or actually, you know what, let's use pound 333 for our font color, which is a standard Android font color, and let's see what we get. Cool. So now it's like an off black, it's more like a charcoal gray. I think it's their classier looking buttons, and we're going to do some cool touch events, so you can see that you're touching it. When you do touch it, it'll turn like a dark gray. Okay, and this kind of stays standard with the whole Halo theme of that Android has. Okay, so, and we'll go back to our logo on our final time around. We're just going to tighten everything up, and then we're going to move on to JavaScript and transitioning and navigating through pages. Okay, so now that we have our two buttons, let's show our main page pop out. Let's save, and we should have our our sign up form. Okay, so let's start tightening this up. Okay, we're gonna make our inputs look like Android native inputs. So this is what I have for them. Type in .droid input, and this is the style we have. and I'll give you a second. Okay, so let's save and see what we get. Okay, so as you can see, there's nothing there. We're gonna get rid of our outline, our border, our background. So what are these? By default, an HTML browser will render your input boxes with a 1 pixel black border inset, so it looks like your input boxes are inset from your HTML page. A black background, a white background, and an outline which is like a halo effect when you click on it. I'm going to get rid of all of that, and position relative from the bottom. What I'm trying to do is we're going to raise it from the bottom of our LI a little bit so it hangs off when we put in our next when we put in something else to kind of make our effect work. We're going to wrap our inputs, so let's actually take out our HTML page. Okay, and we're going to type in for every single input, not the select. We are going to type in span class equals droid span. And just copy and paste it to every single input. So there should be 3 for your name, username, and email. Password and confirm password. And just make sure that we get rid of this here. What we're going to do is make sure that we close our span in every input, otherwise our span doesn't close and it will break our HTML page. Okay, save, and again, by default there will be no added value, but now we're going to apply some style to our spans to give us some effect. And let's see what I have. So let's go back to our CSS file. Okay, and let's bring this to the top a little bit. Okay, save, and I'll let you type, and I'll just re-render my HTML page for the time being so we can see what's going on. Okay, so why didn't I apply the border right, bottom, and left borders to the input box? That's a good question. The problem is that the input side left and right borders, as you can see here, by Android standards, they're very small. They're not the full height, so if I had applied it to the input box, I would have to make the height of these left and right borders the entire height of the words, and that wouldn't look right. So what I do, I just applied a CSS rule called overflow visible, which would make my letters be able to overflow vertically past my span. If I had done overflow, let me see if I could apply it here to show you. If I had done that for my input box, so it's overflow visible. Let's see if this will work. Okay, yes, it doesn't work. The whole point is that our inputs shouldn't be able to, if they're overflow visible, it will go past. By default, the overflow is hidden, and if you type more than what you can see in an input, it'll just scroll with you. If I made it overflow visible, it'll just leak out into the next element. We don't want that. So it gives it just a weird effect of it's just overflowing within itself. Pretty much why I cannot apply overflow visible to the input box. Okay, and let me just make sure. Okay, and we're just going to add width 100% to our droid inputs here, just so they go to the edge. As you can see, if someone has a long name, it'll go right to the edge. Okay, and let's see if I can make this. And let's change the bottom to 1.1 EM and font size 19 point. So we want to make our font size a little bigger. Save, and oh, that's way too big. Obviously, we don't want it that big. So let's tone it down a little bit. Let's make it 16. Everything's just, you know, trial and error to see what looks good, what doesn't look good. That's still a little too big, so let's make it 13. And again, you could have it any way you want. Just depends on what you're doing and what you need it for. That's about good. Okay, and obviously I think I want to give some more room to every input box so they don't look squished. And let's see, droid input, and they are not in an LI. Let's see if we can give this a margin. And let's try to apply a margin to see if that works. That doesn't work. You just play with things to see if they do not work. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Just depends on the element. See, if I apply margin, let's see if I make it bigger, what happens. Okay, see, what happens is I can't apply the margin to the actual inputs. I would have to apply it to the LI. So if I tried doing it to the LI, margin bottom 10 pixels. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that's applying it to the entire UL. So let's actually go into our HTML and change this to more LI class, more. Just like our button, and it doesn't matter because they all have the same exact style, so we don't have to rewrite the CSS again. It's already there. And let's see how it'll look. Okay, so we're now going to add LI class more to these inputs, and we're going to see what happens. And now we have a little bit more margin on the bottom, so we have some more space. When you see it on a phone, again, when you make it, the thing about not making it on the computer, you can't really gauge how things are going to look, because like a screen resolution on the phone can almost compare to one of these screens. So it looks weird here, but it's going to look pretty good on the phone. Okay, so now let's add some style to our select. And I have this for our select. Copy. Let's see. Why didn't I put a class? If I don't put a class, I could just name an element by its tag name. So if I put in select or text area or input, it will target all inputs, all selects, all text areas. I won't do this normally, but we're only going to use a select one time. And even if we do use it again, I know for 100% it will be the same. So it's fine to do this in that situation. I wouldn't use it too much. But once you do apply, let me move this over. Once you do apply styles to the select, you won't be able to override it, because doing styles by its tag name is pretty much the end all of styling for that element anyway. Okay. And I'll just give you a second. And I think we're going to have to add our margin left of 5% like we did for our droid span, and that should work, and it does. You can make the selects as big as you want. I don't necessarily have to. I don't, because I don't like selects too much, but if I use them, you know, it's just fine to make it a little bit bigger than the biggest word. Okay. Most people do that, and on the phone this is gonna look really cool. By the way, it doesn't look cool because it's on a browser, but okay. And this is really cool, as I was mentioning before. These pop-outs I didn't give a definite height and width to. Why? Now next time when we make another form of only 2 or 3 of these inputs, I don't have to sit there and figure out how high it has to be. It'll just expand and detract with every single different form we have. So if I have a form with 1 or 2 or 3 of these, it'll conform to that height. It just expands when you throw elements in there. That's the nature of an expanding div, and not giving it a definite height and just giving it a height of auto. Okay. Okay. So now that we have our basic form, let's put in our buttons. So we should have input type left button and right button. Okay, and I have the style for that. And I'm gonna just throw both of these in, and as you type, I'll tell you what's going on. Okay. Okay, so what's by the way, these look really nice. This looks exactly like Android's forms. Alright, so what's going on? We're gonna, since there is a padding and we left 70 pixels of padding because we need about 60 pixels as per Android UI guideline. They want 48, or I'm sorry, about 40 DPI, which is around 80 pixels, because it's 2:1 ratio for extra high density phones. So we left 70 pixels at the bottom, plus this margin, so we have about 100 at the bottom, 100 pixels of padding to play with. So I absolutely put these, position these buttons at the bottom. One's on the left and one's on the right. They have a border on the right. Well, I'm sorry. My left button has a border on the right, to see the separation, and they both have a border on top. So it looks like they're hanging off the page, and you get some, separation, or they look like they're raised a little bit. Android doesn't like you won't be able to really tell too much that buttons are popping off the page. Instead, they use that blue glow when you click on a button, which we're going to implement to show that you're clicking on it. Okay, and everything else is pretty self-explanatory. They're both a width of 50%, and they have a margin and a padding. I'm sorry, they have a padding on the top and bottom. So my instead of giving it a height, if I give them both padding, it will vertically align my cancel and submit, instead of me having to manually do it. It just automatically vertically and vertically centers my my text. There's other ways to do it. You could use line height, and you could use a line height of, if you make your button 70 pixels high, you can use a line height of 70 and it will vertically align your button. I just learned this way, so I stick to it because I'm comfortable with it. If you're comfortable with something else, fine. Everything else works. This works too, so that's why I'm not against it. Okay, so now we have our sign up form, which is cool, but can we tell it's a sign up form? No. So what are we going to do? We're going to add a header saying sign up. So let's add a header. Let's go back to our HTML page. Thing about apps is, people know what buttons they press. They know they press the sign up button, but if I'm here looking at it now, I come back in 2 minutes, even you making it, you say, oh, what the hell is going on here? You want some sort of header, or say, hey, you're here, just to remind you, just in case. So let's go back to our sign up form. Let's see, where is it? Okay, and it says LI class. Well, let's add a LI. Let's call it LI class heading. And let's just call it LI class heading and put sign up and save, and let's see what we have. Okay, nothing. Let's play around with it. Let's see, let's give it a margin. Let's and let's see. Okay, so let me just throw this in so you guys can see it. Again, we added the LI class of heading with sign up, so let's add it in our CSS. Okay, and let's run it. Boom. Okay, so now it looks like our bottom buttons. Again, it's kind of hanging off. If you, I don't know if you can see it on the video, but you'll be able to see it on your screen. It looks like a little page tab, and when we put it on our Android phones, it'll have Android's Roboto text, so let's not worry about that for the time being. And now we know we're in a sign up page. Hey, it's basic, but guess what? Unless you're a designer, Google's spent millions of dollars doing design, and I'm sorry, you're not better than them unless you're a full-time designer. By the way, if you are, please let me know. Okay. Alright, so we should be done with our sign up page for now. Looks pretty good. It's clean. We know where we are, and just not functionality wise, but we'll get back to the functionality. Okay, so let's go back to sign up form, or I'm sorry, sign up wrapper, and let's hide it. And we are going to show our login wrapper. Save. And I'll let you type as I see what happens. Okay, now our buttons are already there. The power of classes. Half of our actually everything's done. The only thing we have to do is add in our LI class that we did in our sign up wrapper and put our droid spans in for our blue borders, and we're done. So let's do that. And this is a lot faster. Let's see. Let's go to our login wrapper. So let's go to login wrapper. Let's add our class of more. And let's add our droid spans. And let's just copy and paste because we don't like to type. And mine's pretty long, so let's go over here. Okay, and I'm gonna save it. So all I did was I added our LI class more and our droid span just like we did in the sign up page. Nothing new, and bam, we're done. So now we have a login where we could put our email and password. Perfect. If you need to write all these down, I would just stop the video here and put in all your styles so you can get caught up. I know I'm moving kind of fast, I'm sorry. Otherwise this is going to be a 3-hour video and everyone's going to hate me. So I figure if you need to slow down, you could just stop the video and then pick back up. Okay. Okay, so now that we're done with our login wrapper, let's display none. And we are going to hide our main pop out. Our main page pop out, and we're back to our home page, and we're done with our home page for now. We're gonna make one more round through, put some images places. Now we're gonna just droid it up, and we're gonna come back. So let's go to my profile. Let's cut display none from my profile and paste it at my main page. Save it, and now we should be back at our I'm sorry, our my profile. Okay. Okay. So what we are going to do next is okay. So we should be on our my profile screen. Okay, and we're going to add a few things in this section before we go any further. Let me see where it is. Add task form, and okay. In our div class pop-out wrapper ID my profile pop-out, where it says div class pop-out inner add task pop-out, we're going to go right underneath that div, and we still want to remain in our profile pop-out, but we want to be outside of add task pop-out, so it should be under the first ending div close tag. We're going to add some more pop-outs. Let's add div class equals pop-out, ID equals settings pop-out, and we're going to close it. And what we're going to add here is just a little pop-out so we could change our settings. Okay, like our username and our personal information, stuff like that, because you know, that's pretty standard in any website or any social network. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the UL class no padding, because that's our standard class for our pop-outs. And we're going to close it at the bottom. And now let's add information we want to change. We're going to set it so we can just change our name and username. Okay. And we're going to add our droid span. And our input, and we're going to do username first. Okay, and that will be to change our username, and let's just copy and paste it, because all we're going to do is change ID from change username to change name. And oh, the one thing I did forget was we're going to put it in a form. Form ID change info form. And we're going to close our form after our UL and form. And we want to add our left and right buttons. So let's, right above it should be our add task pop-out. So let's just get our right and left button from here. And we're going to change ID from cancel task to cancel change info, and confirm change info. Okay, so we added an entire form, and we're gonna add one more form. underneath settings pop out, which should be here, we're gonna add a form called, this is going to be a pop out, but it's going to be a little different of a format. It's not going to be the traditional cancel and submit. We're going to do a camera pop out, so we're going to call it div id equals camera pop out. And we're not going to have any other divs like it, so we don't need to give it a class. What we are going to do is we're going to have a UL with no padding. Okay, so when we click our main icon, as you're going to see, a pop-out's going to come out saying, do you want to take a picture from library? Do you want to take a picture? Delete your picture or cancel? And we're going to have 4 buttons on top of each other. And since there's no form, we don't need any padding for cancel buttons. It's just going to go in a successive list, as we'll see in a minute. So what we're going to do is put our, we just need an LI and our buttons. And we're going to call these full buttons, and we're going to apply the same exact style to every single one of these. ID equals from library, which will be our button to get a picture from our existing library. And we are going to do our input. Let's copy and paste. And we're going to say from camera, and then we're going to do 2 more. Let's get here. Delete photo, which will be to, if you want to get rid of your main icon, we'll just delete it, and cancel photo, which will just cancel any actions and bring us back to our home screen. Oh, and we want to add, let's see, LI class heading, as we have in everything else. So let's add our headings to both our change info form over here, and we're going to call it edit information, and for our camera pop out, set main picture should work, and that's about it. So let's save it, and nothing's gonna come up obviously because excuse me, everything is in our pop out div. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is we're going to add some images from your image packet. Let's open it. Okay, you should have, let's see, where it is. I know it's somewhere. Hold on 1 second. Let's just look for it. Okay, here it is. It should be called person. We're going to right click and we're going to copy it into our image folder. So we have person.png, and what we're going to do is we're going to make that the background to our icon holder, so we know that there's no picture there, and but it is for an icon. So let's see, what is this called? Icon holder, and my icon. So let's go to my icon. Okay, background color gray. Let's get rid of that. And dot icon holder. We're gonna, because also we're gonna do this for other person's profile. If they don't have a picture, the same picture will come up. So we're gonna do background URL, which is a background image property. It defines a background and what URL, so the path to the image, and it will be in. We're gonna go back one folder. If you remember from our Eclipse setup, how we get back to a parent folder. So right now we're in CSS. We need to go back one folder to our main folder. That's what .. does, and we want to be in the image folder, which is here. And so let's click on it, and person. So we're going to say person.png. Okay, so let's see what we get. Okay, so this is what happens if your background image is not big enough for the section, the div that it's in. It automatically repeats itself. So how do we say I don't want you to repeat? We say background repeat, no repeat. Perfect. How big do we make this? 125. Okay, we want the background size to be about 80% of the size of our div. So we're going to do background size 80 pixels by 80 pixels, and so it gets a little bigger. And the size is a little better, but it's still hugging the corner. So we want our background to be in the center of dead center of every. We want our background to be dead center of any div that it's in. For the most part, there'll be cases where you want it to be on the left. So to set a position, we could set the horizontal and the vertical. So background position, we're gonna do center, which is center horizontally and center vertically. So if I wanted it to be on the left center, I would say left center, which would stay here, but it would just go down vertically. Okay, and you can play with that because there's many different things you can do, and it'll be dead center. And let's put a border just so we know there's something there. We'll play with that again. We're gonna go back one more time and make things really nice, and we're gonna change that up and make it really nice. But for now, we know that it's for our icon, and we'll make that a little bit nicer. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Okay. We could change that to FO for now. When you do borders, you never want to really make the borders contrast too much with a color, meaning that if I have light colors, I don't want to do like a black border. It just looks really ugly and tacky. Try to keep your borders just very light, hinting with accents. As you can see here, like you could tell that this gray area comes off the page, but not too much, and otherwise it would look pretty bad. But again, we're going to come back to this one more time and clean everything up before we start getting to the functionality. Okay, and this is okay for now. The only thing that's going to change is our font when we put it into an Android device. Okay, so we should be okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to pop out our pop-out. So where are we with that? Main page pop-out. My profile pop-out. Let's get rid of display none. Okay, now we have a bunch of things floating around. What the heck is going on, right? Okay, so the one thing we are going to do is our change info form, which is over here. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't make a mistake. So let's do let's go back to our change info form, and where is it? Okay, and it should be div class pop out inner instead of div class pop out. That's why I didn't get the background. Okay, and okay, as you can see, we have a cool header as we did in the first one, and oh, we didn't set our placeholders. So let's go back to our placeholders, and our folder equals name. And there we go. And that's a pretty cool looking form. And that's actually done, so we don't have to touch that for now. Settings pop out. Let's hide it. As you see, once you start getting towards like the middle of your styling, mostly everything is done because of the nature that we set up everything in the beginning of all the classes, the buttons, the spans. It's pretty awesome that we don't have to keep doing things over and over. And let's hide camera pop out for the time being. There we go. And let's see. Okay, yes, we still have to do that. So what we're gonna do is let's go back up to add task form in our pop out wrapper for my profile. We have UL class of no padding already, so let's add LI class more and our droid span to both date due and task name. Let's not touch our text area for the time being. Okay, and we are going to add LI class more to our text area just so we get some more margin, but let's not put the droid span there. And we are going to do it for our date due. And let's see. And we have our left and right button, so let's save. And I'll keep it right here just so you guys can see. And let's make this. Okay, and we have our span. So you type for a second. Okay, and the only thing we are going to do is let's get rid of our padding. And we are going to change our text area to look like our input boxes. So we're going to copy down this for our text area because we only have one text area. So we could just put these styles. It's the same exact styles as our input boxes, and we're just going to add a border on the bottom of let's see what color this is. Okay. Okay, and it puts our text area 5% margin from the left and the width 90%, so it's dead center. It has a border of 0. It gets rid of all the HTML rendering like I was talking about before, as far as our input boxes and text boxes. WebKit appearance none gets rid of any standard WebKit. It gets rid of all of WebKit's like basic rendering, so that means it gets no styles on its own unless we give it to it. So that is what WebKit appearance none is. So anything like a checkbox or a radio box or HTML form or anything where by default WebKit would give it a basic its basic styles, when you put WebKit appearance none, it will override those defaults and you'll have no appearance until you do it yourself. Okay, it's a pretty powerful tool if you use it the right way. If you don't, you're going to find out that some of the basic behavior is going to go, and you're going to have a hard time making it look right again. Okay, alright, so we're oh, and we forgot to add our header. So let's add a header. Let's go back up. Let's go back down to LA class heading, and let's copy and paste it in our add task form. And now we can add a task. And this, by the way, this looks like there's not much height to it, but as you type, it expands on its own. That's just the nature of a text box. But I didn't want to. It doesn't do it on a browser, but it will on the phone. I just didn't want to use up too much unnecessary space, because the chances of someone putting in the description more than a couple lines is slim to none. Okay. And the only thing we're going to do is add the font size of 13 point to our text area and text indent of 10 pixels, so it matches our input boxes. There we go. And by the way, this is just WebKit's basic font for a text area. It's different than input box, but we don't have to worry about that because we're going to use all of Android's fonts once we put it in the phone. Okay. Okay, so let's hide our add task form. I know it's somewhere around here, so let's find it. Our add test pop out on page. Oh, okay, so I never, okay. We never added it, so let's add it. So let's do add task pop out. Display none. Okay. And the only thing we have left is our camera pop out. Okay, so our camera pop out, we want it to kind of look the same as our dot pop outs. So where are our dot pop outs? Okay, and we're going to copy everything except for the padding bottom. I'll give you a second to type that, or better yet, I would just copy and paste from our dot pop out wrapper inners. Okay. And we are going to change our UL class for our camera pop out to camera UL, because we have a margin with our no padding, but we need no margin. Okay, so camera UL, and let's add something for camera UL. Padding 0, margin 0. Okay. And the reason I'm doing this is because I see here the buttons are hanging off the edge, and I don't want that. Well, I must not have saved it here. Okay. And we have to apply our list style of none. Oh, I'm sorry. It's dot camera UL, and save. And now we should have the same thing, and now we just want to get rid of the margins. Okay, so because we're going to make these width 100%. Okay, so I'm gonna actually do this real time with you guys. Let's see what we have. Okay, like I said before, I'm gonna give padding to both the top and bottom, so my letters are dead center vertically in the button. And now let's get rid of all that stuff that the buttons have by default. Let's steal from the top our, I'm sorry, actually we can do it from right here. Our background color. And let's see what we have so far. Oh, and a width of 100%. We're gonna add some more stuff. Let's just see what else. Let's see what else is here. Okay. Let's see. Let's get rid of. And we're gonna add our WebKit appearance to get rid of our default HTML button look. Alright, so that looks like nothing. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is add a border. Top one. Okay, solid. And there we go. Now it looks like 4 buttons in succession, which it should look like. And I'm not sure if we added a border radius here. Let's just make sure. Okay, we do have a border radius. And the only thing I forgot to do is add the values for our button. Okay, oh, so this is where we're going to have a little fun. So let's do text indent. Save. And by default, our buttons have, and we're going to change this to 100. Our buttons have text line to center, so let's change it to left. Let's see if it lets us do that. And we're going to put some values, so we have let's see if it makes lets us text line left. Okay, so we're good. So let's put in our placeholders from library. And just put in the values so people know what they are. And wherever I can, okay, and let's just make the, oh, I'm sorry, let's make this uppercase. And let's just make the font a little bit bigger. Oh, too big, let's make it 15. Still a little bit too big, let's make it 13. Okay, and what we're going to do, why I did this is we're going to add some nice pictures. Instead of having a text line center, let's put some spice into our app and make it look nice. So we're going to go back to our image folder. Let's see. somewhere. And we are going to add to our image folder. Let's copy and paste, cancel, copy, cancel, camera, lib, and we should have a trash can, so copy and paste trash. Okay, and if I'm sure you could kind of guess what we're going to do. We're going to set the background images on the left side, and so let's do that. Okay, ID from library. Again, go back to the parent folder, to the image folder, and lib.png. And since it's not big enough for our background, our div, background repeat, no repeat, background size, 70 pics, let's do 60 pics, and background position, let's do left horizontally and center vertically. Let's see what happens. Okay, so now it's dead tap center into this div, and it gives us like a little spice when we have an app and it doesn't look so plain. So let's add these for the rest of our. Let's do it 65 by 65. Perfect. And we're gonna bring back our full button text indent from 100 to 80. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna copy and paste because we're gonna do the same exact template except change the name. So instead of from library, what is the next one would be ID from camera. And let's just change the library to camera. And we have ID delete photo. And trash.png, so a trash can with the note deleting something. And cancel photo. And cancel.png. And there we go. So now we have pretty cool icons for our list. It's self-explanatory. It gives a little visual. People don't like to read. So if they see pictures, they'll be like, hey, I know this is the cancel. I know this is to take a picture. And this is pretty standard for, from library. So, okay. So we're done with this pop out. So now we should have our main screen done and all three of our pop outs for my profile done, which is cool. Let's see if we have anything else to do. Let's see, let's hide, add test pop out, and we should have our camera pop out. Let's display none. And save. Okay, and now let's get rid of our pop out for this my profile pop out. Let's display none. Okay, and let's hide our my profile. And the only thing else we want to see is other person's profile, and just make sure that's okay. And again, it's the same thing because we have a template. And okay, so the only thing that we're going to do after this is next week I am going to add navigation bars, and we're going to start doing transitions and animations between screens and some basic JavaScript. So that's why I didn't go too heavy today. But we have mostly all our buttons, and I'm just still waiting on a logo. And by next week I should have it, and we'll go from there. So what I want you to do is, like last week, just send a picture of every screen. And we should be well on our way to having a decently formatted application. Okay, so next week we're going to do some headings, sub-navigation, and stuff like that. So, and it'll look really good. Okay, perfect. Thank you.